My favorite part is, I think, kind of like Bill, hanging out and seeing everybody we don't get to see all the time. I'm social on Facebook, as you know, but I think that just seeing everybody you don't normally get to see. I see St. Joshi a lot. God knows I see Bill Nolan all the time. It's like insane. He's like keeps coming around. But I enjoyed like seeing Rocky, and got to chat with him briefly, and Weston and Yvonne and people I don't normally see that much. I only saw a glimpse of Lisa briefly. I'm a great panelist, I swear. And I'm loud, and I beat the table and stuff, and I go, "This cannot be!" You know, and I'm very adamant, and people love that because it startles them out of their slumber. Yeah. You know, it's just usually what's they're usually kind of doing. Oh. Then you say something like, "And then the octopus had sex with it," and they go, "What?" You know, and they're like, "Whoa, I think I missed something," but it's harmless. It's in fun. I don't like to hurt people. I think that what I would tell writers coming to the con is meet as many people as you can, but you can at least meet and greet people. You know, in the lobby and in the elevators and over dinner. Don't do things with people in the bathroom. That's bad. You know, don't say, "I love your work," you know, or "Can you sign this?" You know, don't do that. But barring that, I think go to as many panels as you are interested in. If you're not interested in any, just mingle and socialize. The main thing is to go. I think going to the parties is important, even if you don't drink. And I think going to, you know, meeting the editors and things like this, that's important for people's careers. So the networking aspect is very important. It's always worthwhile. And it's fun. I think they should always be respectful of others' personal space. I think that people need to be mindful and respectful of people who have greater stature, you know, and learn from them as much as possible. I like being around older people because you always learn a lot from them. You know, it's not some kind of con about you. It's not about you. It's about the environment. It's about what we're trying to do here. It's about, in this particular instance, spreading the what we're trying to say about the horror writers.
What does it mean to get nominated for a Bram Stoker Award?
Well, to be honest, I think it used to be more of a joke to people. I think that they didn't take it very seriously. I think that has changed. And I think a lot of the credit for that does go to Rocky and Lisa and the restructuring of the way. I'm on the jury that helps with this, and I have been for the past 3 years. And I think that is important. That shift in attitude has been important. And there's a lot of, I think, constructive back and forth about how it should be done. And I think that that's valid. And I think it should be, you know, discussed, you know, openly and transparently. It used to be more of a popularity kind of thing. And I think that just sheerly basing it on popularity, kind of like the Hugos or the Locus Awards, that's fine. But you have to say it is what it is. This is all about people who are just going to read what they're going to read, and the same people are going to win every year. That has been a complaint lodged against the Bram Stoker Award in the past. And I think that changing to a half-juried system has been good. And I won't wax about how I think it can be tweaked. I do think that there's still room for improvement, but I think it's a vast improvement over what happened previously. And I think that is important. And I think that I like to say that there's no perfect human system, but it is a perfectible system. And so we can continue to make improvements, tweak things, and modulate, and, you know, just say, okay, we're building toward a perfect ideal.
Right. Getting nominated or winning the Stoker, does it change their career as a writer? Does it change their trajectory at all? Does it?
I think it can. I think my philosophy on awards in general, people think I have a dualistic mindset about it, and I don't. I have a consistent philosophy, and that philosophy is awards are totally meaningless. Okay? They don't mean a thing. They are just a thing that either hangs on your wall or sits on your shelf. It's another item to dust. Okay? Now, that's its extrinsic value. In other words, it's a piece of something. It doesn't mean anything in and of itself. The nomination process, I think, is more valid and important. it's important to be nominated. That is cliche, but it's true, because in the case of peer voting or juried and peers or what have you, that's more valuable than the actual award itself. So it's the intrinsic value of what people are bringing to it. If you took it outside of the context, for example, nobody, if you ask them on the street, is going to know what a Bram Stoker Award is necessarily. Just like they may not know what a Grammy is to some people, or why a daytime Emmy is different than a regular Emmy, or whatever. And it's not really meritorious or valuable to debate those things. For our industry, it's important, I think, because it is recognition by peers of what we're trying to value and the values we're trying to uphold. And I think that that's why it does have merit. And what I would say is, people say, oh, you said they were meaningless a moment ago. And I said, it is true. But the intrinsic value of, we're all trying to work toward the same end goal, and we're all trying to improve ourselves and improve the level of craft in the genre and that type of stuff, that does have merit. And so I think that that's a representation of what we're trying to accomplish. It's just a physical locus of that. My advice to writers, after give up, because most of you will be horrible, it would be, if you really are determined to be a writer, there are several things you need to do. You have to develop a thick skin. You have to be flexible and amenable to criticism, but also have wisdom to know when that criticism misses the point of what you're trying to accomplish. As a writer, you need to learn editorial craft. And by editorial craft, I mean you really have to understand not just what the market is after. You shouldn't chase the market, in other words. You should understand what you're trying to say and have something to say. And you understand that editing, to me, has two distinct criteria, and that is subjective and objective. And the objective criteria need to be mastered absolutely. That would be formatting, guidelines, how the manuscript is done, punctuation, grammar, all this kind of thing. That's non-negotiable. Subjective is the story, the characterization, the style. Those are debatable. Okay, so those points, you have to understand that, and you have to understand how to edit another's work and your own work. I think that every writer could benefit from doing an anthology. It'll teach you a lot about other writers, how to deal with other writers, and also how to measure their work and edit their work, which you can then apply to your own work. Because I've been an editor for many things. I don't want to read just a story. I want to read something that moves me, angers me, frightens me. I want something that's going to make me think. I want something that's going to change my life. Or make me think about it later and go, oh, that is interesting, isn't it? I don't want something that's going, well, that was fun. Because who cares? Anybody can do that, really. Another aspect of writing I have to touch upon, Bill and I have discussed this at length. Everybody thinks they can write. They think, well, shoot, I know the alphabet. And I've written my mom. And he says your grandmother, but I think that'd be stretching it for you. They say, gee, so I must be a writer, so I can write a story. Well, they may have a story in mind, and then they try to write it, and it's horrible, and then they get incensed or hurt when people say, it didn't work, or whatever, because people are going to pick it apart. And that's just another thing. That's why you have to have the thick skin. You have to understand that people's intentions aren't always good, but they usually are good. Sure. And if you're going to be determined to do it, you have to understand that you're not always right.